Welcome to Calm Your Crazy. I'm Kiana Lambert, and tonight we are talking about exiting the simulation. And before we get started, I want to say that if it doesn't resonate for you, then it's not for you. It's not personal. There's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with me. It just means that it doesn't resonate with where you are right now, and that's okay. All right, back to it. So, exiting the simulation. I'm going to give an outline and then I'll go deeper into explanation. But the simulation is a quantum computer, for lack of a better term or analogy. For right now, that is the closest thing that I can relate to telling you so that you can have this concept of an idea. But it's a simulated hologram experience. It's just like you play video games. I use The Sims as an example. You are the one controlling the avatar, but it's far more advanced, and you are inside your avatar. And you forget, because that's the only way to experience the game. If you know who you are, then you don't experience the full immersion of being in your avatar and having the experience that you want to have in the game. So the simulation works where everyone has their own reality. And this is a hard concept for people to understand, but not really, because if you are playing a multiplayer online game, you are sitting on your computer by yourself in that online immersed world with your avatar, and you're running around doing stuff. Maybe somebody across the world that you play with or meet up with is also in that same world with you, but in their room across the world. When you interact with each other, you are seeing a version of their avatar on your screen. But it's not their avatar. Their avatar's on their screen. They're controlling it. You have a version of them, and they have a version of you. And when you separate and go your own way to do your own thing in the world, and they go their own way and you go yours, then you are creating your own reality, independent of each other. And the perception is that you have this shared reality, and you don't. You each have your own reality that you are creating with a version of each other in it. But it's still you. It's just you vibrating at a different frequency rate and having experiences that contribute to your consciousness expanding and gaining the experience and evolving. And it's all happening at the same time. So inside the game, in the simulation, you experience time as a construct of the simulation. When you are not in the simulation, there is no time. That's why when you dream and you're not in the simulation, you go somewhere else. You experience something else that you are also experiencing simultaneously. So time is what you experience awake as part of the simulation rules. It's not real, but we feel it as real. And we are the ones creating it. For lack of a better way to describe it, a lot of people get really weirded out by this. And it's understandable, because so much power has been placed into deities that, and also religion teaches you not to do this because it's blasphemous, and that was their method of control. But we are gods. You are God. Just like, the verses say we are made in his image, but things have been changed so much in translation. But even if they hadn't been changed, if we are made in his image, we are his image. It's the same. We are creating all of this. So, the way that you leave the simulation is knowing you are God. The way that you leave this simulation is understanding, knowing, and not even believing you're God, but knowing. You need to actually know. Believing means that you are taking the first step towards knowing, and you're well on your way. But knowing means that it is not even something you question. It's not something you enforce. You actually know. You embody. And the reason that you have to know and embody is because of the evolutionary experience that you're having as a human. You have to know and embody because when you die and you start to go through the experience of death, you are going to either go towards the light automatically, go towards your family and loved ones and or your deity automatically, because you don't know any better. And when you do that, you start another cycle of consciousness going into another life. So that's the version of reincarnation that I'm talking about, because everything is happening at the same time. It's just you choose to go back into the simulation. Now, the Sumerian writing is not complete. There's a lot of information in this documentary that I was watching, and I only saw a snippet of it because it was on social media. And I didn't get the title of it. It's probably on Gaia or something. But after doing some research, it's actually a compilation of Sumerian texts, Gnostic texts, some Hinduism. So like the prison planet and all the theory, it comes from different places all over the world. But anyway, the long and short of it is that you have to know who you are as the creator, because after you die and then start to experience your death, your consciousness needs to remain intact, knowing that you are the creator, because then awareness stays and the observer stays. Meaning that when you are playing the game and you're unconscious, whatever people call NPCs, it just means that you are going through life unknowingly, just reliving and creating patterns over and over and over again. When you are reliving and just creating patterns over and over again, you're stuck in the storyline. So when you die and you see your loved ones, you automatically go to them. When you see your deity, you automatically go to them because you believe in that version of the afterlife. But when you are the creator with your awareness and you have awakened, you can see. You have this two sight, like you're in the body having the experience and you're also watching with your awareness. So whenever you start to have the death experience and you see your loved ones and your deity, you don't go towards them. Because you know that that goes back into the simulation and that you end up getting reborn and experiencing that life. So you have to know who you are and believe it. Then know it deep inside. And the way that you believe it and then know it is to start practicing seeing cause and effect of what you create. So whenever you die and get up there, you don't go towards your people because you know better. Then the second option appears. And that second option is you deciding what you want to do and where you want to go. Because everything exists. All possibilities exist and you've created all of them. So not only can you go back to the Earth simulation, but you can go do something else. Your consciousness can go anywhere. So you get to decide what you want to experience. But when you move on and when you get up there, it's like, because you know you're the creator, Your awareness gets up there and you receive all your memories back. You know what's happening. You know all the lives you've lived. You know what to do. You know how it works. And you have access to all the information. So that's why the second option appears. You can decide instantly. It's not like a second door pops up, Oh, let's look behind what's door number 2. No. You will know as your consciousness what the options are, and you'll be able to choose. And the way that you get to this level is by practicing. If you don't practice in your human life and you just keep it as a concept that you are the creator, then when you die, you still don't believe it. You don't know it. You think you do because you're saying it over and over again, but if you don't ever prove to yourself that you are, then you're never going to truly know it. And you really don't believe it. So, this is going to require of you to start taking action towards things that challenge your nervous system. And it's not going to feel great. But once you control your nervous system, then you have mastered your human body. And once you've mastered your human body and you no longer get sucked in and hijacked with your emotions and you can remain calm, then the next level opens up with consciousness. And then you can feel, you can hear, you can see. And this is why the Egyptians depict these images of going through and mastering your reptilian or your animalistic brain, and then showing how your third eye awakens after that. So, the Anunnaki and the Sumerian part was how I got the clue of how that works. Because what was transcribed or related from the documents or whatever that they found was that you have to resist the pull when you die. That when you die, if you go into the light, you go into what's familiar, then you get sucked right back into it, which is the same thing as what happens with your human avatar. You'll get sucked right back into hijacked emotions and subconscious programming unless you master yourself, unless you master your nervous system. And the way that they describe resisting the pull and making a move, like the instructions are don't move when you get up there. And I'm like, well, movement requires a body. So if you're not in a body, what are you moving towards? And how are you moving? So right there it tells me that the description that's being used comes from a human perception standpoint, which means it's still the simulation. You're still in the simulation when you go up there, because if you weren't in the simulation after you died, there wouldn't be this whole human standpoint, and you wouldn't even, everything is still happening from your human awareness from that life. And you are everything. So I get a little passionate about it, but it makes no sense to me. But anyway, that is how you leave the simulation. And when I say leave the simulation and I say, you're also still in it, I mean leave the Earth simulation. You're never out of the simulation. You can leave the Earth simulation and you can go to another dimension or another life or anywhere else, but you're still in the sim. The whole thing is still a hologram, and you are consciousness creating all of it so that you can experience it. And every single experience is possible in every single realm. And when I say realm, I mean they're separated by light, so you have dimensions where things have different laws. The physics laws and all that are only specific to Earth. Everywhere else, they're all different. And you can experience all of them, and you can decide where to go because you know what everything is, how it works, who you are, what you created. And that's when the second option appears. So how do you get with the knowing? How do you get with the knowing that you are the creator? And this is what I'm talking about when I say I'm going to break it down further. You have to have all your human experience for you to really know and believe it. You have to. That's why people that are born into hardship and trauma, they're on one of their last legs to the whole experience. Because that experience itself causes more dissociation. It fractures this whole idea of self. It starts to make you look outside. But the thing is if you go through trauma, you also risk having the other things happen to you, you know, where you can't function, where you can't take control of your brain. So there's definitely a spectrum and a level to that. But once you have enough experience, it's a frequency that builds. Each lifetime carries a frequency, and it adds up. All your lifetimes add up. All the experience that you have with each lifetime and each frequency of that life adds up. And then you are born, and you have all the experience inside you, and your brain can access more information. It's like it gets unlocked. The more experience and the more you evolve, the more information gets unlocked in the level. And then you suddenly are awakened and you can see and you know that you are the creator. And you start to understand that everybody is you. And then you spend the rest of your life learning. And this is the big one. Learning to accept all the parts of you and all the pieces of you. All the pieces of humanity, and loving yourself anyway, even the dark parts. And the more that you love yourself, the more that you start to love everybody around you because you understand that they are you. And reality starts reflecting more love and more understanding and more compassion. But in order to get there, you still have to embrace the parts of you that were wounded and that give you the anger and that give you the human emotions. And you have to embrace and love those because they're perfect and part of the contrast as well. So you have to go through all of that and understand all of that in your last lifetime. And it's all about loving on yourself because everybody is a version of you. So loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and then sharing that with other people is the last leg. When you get out of survival mode, when you master your nervous system, and you see cause and effect, and you become the observer, the awareness. And all this stuff that I'm saying is pattern mapping. But what happens is not that I'm looking for it. When you are in touch with your consciousness, with yourself, and you are awakened and you have mastered your nervous system and you understand how things work, you will feel resonance when something's for you. And it's because you're in your body and you're physically in the present moment. And so this is how you normally would communicate all the time. But most people are dysregulated in their brain, thinking all the time, and really overstimulated, so they can't notice it because their energy is so contracted. But I will be doing whatever. Let's say my girls are watching some ancient Egyptian thing like they were the other day. And I'm just farting around in the kitchen, not paying attention to what they're watching. But when it's resonance for me and it's something that I need to know, I will hear it louder. My attention will deviate from what I'm doing and automatically take in the information. So the other day they were watching the Egyptian thing, and then it started to talk about symbology and how different characters resemble different parts of the brain, and that it was talking about the way to the afterlife, to your consciousness. And once you master your brain stem, which is your nervous system, your brain is part of your nervous system, then consciousness opens for you. And so that was all coming in really loud. And I didn't know what it meant. I thought, oh, that was interesting. I filed it away for later. Because I know, and I have enough experience from seeing cause and effect, that it means something. So I don't overthink it. I just file it away for later. So this is how it comes to me. And then I map it with other things that come up. So a documentary came on. It was just like a piece of a documentary that somebody had clipped for social media. And it was talking about the Sumerians, the Gnostic texts, and all that, and how together it creates this theory of how the Anunnaki were controlling the simulation of Earth to harvest frequency. And the Sumerians talked about how they couldn't control humans or consciousness whenever it went. They had to make it look like consciousness wanted to do it again. So you would see your loved ones, your family members, your deities, and that way you would choose to go back into the reincarnation cycle of consciousness experiencing itself down there, and then they would be able to harvest frequency. And that's not the part that stood out to me. The part that stood out to me was the instructions for what to do after you start to experience the death part of, so you've already died and you've gone up. It tells you not to move. This is what it's saying in this documentary. You don't move, and then you don't go towards any family member. You don't go towards the light. You just stay, sit in your body, resist the pull, the hard pull. It's very specific in this documentary that you have to resist this pull so hard that eventually it will go away. Your loved ones will go away. The tunnel of light will go away. And then you will get a second option. And it's not specific. But it made me realize there was a pattern there. The pattern being your nervous system. When your nervous system gets hijacked, you get pulled into a reaction. You feel it super hard, and most people react before they even have time to think. And they take action with violence, or their nervous system gets ticked up and they react really fast and make the wrong decision or whatever, instead of waiting. And when you get triggered and you're sitting there and you're at that point where you're in the awareness phase and you can manually override your nervous system, you have to resist the pull. And you have to resist taking any action and moving. And then once the feeling goes away, a second option appears. Meaning the first option was whatever you were going to react to. If you got really angry, were you going to retort? Were you going to be physical or whatever? That was the first option. But then you didn't react. You controlled your nervous system. And the second option appears, which is whatever happens if you don't get violent or you don't react. It's the same thing. It's a microcosm of a macrocosm. Everything is a mirror of itself. And whenever I realized this, just like this, I was stunned, floored, and happy all at the same time. I love surprises, so it was really fun. But it's the same thing. It's talking about the same thing. So in order for you to do that when you die, in order for you to just have that when you die, you have to have had it in your human life. You have to have mastered it in your human life. So if you haven't mastered your nervous system and connected to consciousness in your human life, then you're not going to be able to resist that pull. you're not going to be able to resist it because it's going to hijack you just like your nervous system hijacks you as a human and causes you to auto-react. It's talking about the same thing. So your whole purpose on Earth is to gain enough experience and knowledge and evolve to the point where you master your nervous system and your humanity. And connect to your consciousness. Because once you do that and you connect to your consciousness, you understand you're everybody. Wars stop. People start loving on each other. The game's over. And by game over, I mean the game that is being played now, the story arc of the fighting and everything that's happening in the world, that ends. And then a new story begins. So do you see how that story arc of, and this is just a sidebar, but do you see how this story arc is playing out for humanity right now? And everybody's awakening up to this consciousness. And this is why I'm sharing this, so that the ones on their frequency can understand and then alchemize it their own way and share it with their own people, and everybody starts raising their frequency. Yeah, we're markers. There are sleepers of us that come back for this purpose. I mean, I don't know how else to explain the way that I feel, and the way that I feel like I have to present the information and do what I need to do. It's like a mission, a purpose, a drive, an obsession. It feels like I signed up for it. But in any case, since you get to that point, whenever you get to your death in that lifetime, when you've already learned all this, then you understand how everything works, and you can't get pulled anymore. Your deity wouldn't even show up. Your family wouldn't show up because you're not going to create them to experience. And you're going to get that second option, and it's going to be not physical. You're just going to know where to go and what you want to do and what you want to create and experience next. That's how you exit the Earth simulation. And I should have made that caveat in the beginning. It is the Earth simulation. And I kind of want to pivot here and say that you really don't want to escape the simulation. You want to escape your life. You want to escape your reality because you feel trapped. Because if you were having a joyous, expansive experience, you wouldn't want it to end. So part of your job in learning who you are is to remember that you have the power to change your reality and choose to do something that you really want that's going to bring you joy and expansiveness and creativeness, and stop looking at what you are seeing as obstacles. Learn to control your nervous system. That is the key to everything. Learn to control your fear. When things look like they're going bad, control it. Stay calm. You are in control. Anxiety comes from fear that you don't trust yourself. Anxiety and stress come from not believing that you are the one in control, and that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way, and that whatever comes your way is designed especially for where you want to go and for your growth, and that good things happen to you. And you can feel everything. Let it move through you and choose happiness and love. You can choose all that, and you can have all that anytime you want. And that's part of it too. So if you do not master your nervous system, you will not get there. It is a challenge. You are the final challenge. Every other game that you've played has always had something else going on. You've always been doing something else. If you've reached the point where your frequency is listening to this message, then you are the challenge of yourself. And you have to master yourself. Master your nervous system. Access your consciousness. Remember that you are the creator of your experience and everything in it. And expand your mind. Everything is a level. Nothing changes. You just move to another level. And if you don't want to be at the level that you're at, then that is calling. That is an indicator that you need to change the way that you believe things happen and who you believe you are. And then start taking active steps to change your reality. The more that you practice this, the better and closer you'll be. You have to go through every single stage in order to get there anyway. And this is why I completely disregard the whole Anunnaki thing, because that's just a story. It doesn't make sense. They're advanced beings. What are they harvesting frequency for? No, that's just the story that makes it enticing and makes it exciting. But it's not the truth. You can go with it if you want to and be like, ooh, there's Anunnaki. But the reason it's not the truth is because you are the observer. So if you are hearing about the Anunnaki, you are observing it and therefore creating it, meaning they're not real. So, and I should say they are real, you create them. They are not real as in they do not pertain to how you escape this level, how you end this level, how you move on from this level in the simulation. The Anunnaki is just another story arc, another distraction, giving you something to push your power out onto. Because if the Anunnaki are controlling you, then you don't have control of your own power, meaning you are not the creator. See how it catches you up? If you believe the Anunnaki part of it, you're getting sucked into the sim. Because you are the one observing. If you hear, see, feel, all of it in you, it's you. You are observing, therefore creating it in you. And if you're believing that the Anunnaki are controlling everything, then you don't believe in you. You don't believe the power comes from you. You don't believe that you are the observer, collapsing the wave, creating your reality. You don't believe any of that because the Anunnaki are controlling you. But you're creating them because you're observing them. So you're just giving them the power to control you because you have to learn more. So if you believe that sort of thing, then you are not believing you are the creator, and you will still live more and create more and experience more. And it's not a bad thing. You will reach the point where you figure it out and where you choose to create consciously. You will get there. It will happen, I promise you. It's happened to me, so it has to happen to you because you are me. So, that was a lot. I know, I get it. But to recap, the way that you exit the simulation is understand that you are the creator, that you are God. And you start to prove it to yourself. You start to take action towards the things that show you cause and effect. You regulate and master yourself and your nervous system. You open yourself up to consciousness and you trust what you receive. You build a relationship, a connection with yourself, and you connect your mind, body, and spirit. And then you spend the rest of your life discovering who you are on the other side. So that once you get there, once you have the death experience, you are still the observer because you were the observer in this last lifetime. The entire time you were awakened until you experienced death, you remained in your observer state, which means that when you experience death, your observer state remains. And then you are in control because you have practiced control and mastered yourself your entire life. This entire last life. So when you get up there, you're not even going to see your family. You're not going to see the light. You are only going to know that you have the second options. And they're all available to you. And you'll understand that you are everyone, everything, everywhere at the same time. And that you want to experience every single possibility. Because you want all that evolutionary experience. To have it, to know it, to taste it, to feel it. So, the next way you escape the simulation is in it. If you want to escape, you are the mountain. If your life is not where you want it to be, that is the simulation. That's part of it. It's a reality that you're creating for yourself. And this is the first step to knowing who you are, is focusing on how you created it in the first place, and then focusing on changing it. I have a free course. The link is in my bio. It's all you need. It's a video course where I tell you how it works, and it's all you need to shift. You just need to be consistent. Remember how it works. And the more that you see, the more that you will believe, the more that your consciousness will grow, and the more your nervous system will trust you, the more you'll be calm, the more action you'll take, the more confidence you'll have from that action. This is how you begin. If you really want to know, and if you really want to exit, you've got to exit first while you're alive here. Learn how to control your reality here now. And you do that by understanding you're the creator, experimenting with it, so that by the time you go to your death experience, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I want you to understand it. By the time you get to your death experience, you are still in the observer state. All of this is about the observer state. When you are in the observer state, then you get to choose your next path after you go. But first you got to practice changing your reality here and understanding who you are. So, pretty heavy stuff. Everything's frequency and vibration. I know it's a lot. I don't talk about the frequency and the dimension stuff in the free class. That's the paid course, which is the 6-week course. My community is about to open up again. I open quarterly, unless I have like a 24-hour opening if I feel led to do that. But that's going to be opening up in June. And we're currently on module 11, and we have 4 meetings a month. So it's $49, which is really cheap for 4 meetings a month. And we usually go over almost to 2 hours. And then you have weekly video modules that I'm actually teaching you something. So it's new. I'm still figuring it out. But if you want to join the space, we are kind of still figuring out each other. And there's about 31 of us in there. And I'm kind of loving it. I really do. I'm growing close to these ladies, and everybody's amazing. And we're all in kind of the same boat and the same frequency and sharing with each other, and have a lot of the same goals and a lot of the same challenges that we're having. And so we really lift each other up and we talk about it. And then we also do the group meditations. We do group manifestation visualizations to send our energy towards the goals that we have with each other. So if you are interested, the link is in the bio, and you can take the free course whenever the membership opens. I'll let you know. It is for women only, though. I only have it open for women at this time. So you wanted to know how to escape the simulation, and that was it. I hope you start living life for yourself, knowing you are the one creating it, and loving on yourself like there's no tomorrow, because everything you want, it's on the other side of love. And I didn't mention self-love, but it's a foundation as well. Like everything, there's pillars. I should make it about pillars, but self-love is one of the main pillars of this, because when you love yourself, it just opens the door for everything, to emotion. And you realize that everything that you've ever looked for in other people, you were always just wanting to feel inside yourself for yourself. So you really get to be whole when you love yourself. Anyway, I ramble. I will let all of you go, and I will catch you next week. Everything's linked in my bio, and before you go, remember that you are always doing the right thing. You are always on the right path, and you are evolving just perfectly for you. Okay? You are never, ever behind. You are always right on time. Love you, mean it. Good night.